want to ask you a question this evening, one that echoes in the quiet chambers of your heart and rises with you in the early morning light. What is your life's blueprint? Before a builder lays a single brick, he draws a plan. Before a bridge stretches across mighty waters, there is a design. And before a soul steps into the vast arena of human history, there must be a vision, an inner architecture that shapes character, purpose, and destiny. If you do not consciously create your blueprint, the world will hand you one. And if you do not define your purpose, circumstance will attempt to define it for you. So tonight, I challenge you to consider, what plan have you drawn for your life? A deep belief in your own dignity and worth is the cornerstone of any meaningful life blueprint. It is the quiet, unshakable conviction that your existence is not an accident, that your presence on this earth carries value before you earn a dollar, before you receive applause, before anyone calls your name with honor. Dignity is not something handed to you by society. It is something woven into the very fabric of your being. Worth is not measured by popularity, possessions, or position. It is inherent, it is sacred, it is yours. When a person truly believes in their own dignity, they refuse to internalize the cruel judgments of the world. They understand that insults cannot define them, that discrimination cannot reduce them, and that failure cannot erase their value. This belief becomes a shield against humiliation and a source of strength in moments of doubt. It allows an individual to walk into rooms where they are underestimated and still stand tall. It creates a posture of confidence that does not depend on external validation. To believe in your own worth also means recognizing that you possess unique gifts. No one else in human history has carried the exact combination of talents, perspectives, experiences, and dreams that you carry. That uniqueness is not random, it is purposeful. When you accept this, comparison loses its destructive power. You stop measuring your life against someone else's timeline or achievements. Instead, you focus on cultivating what has been entrusted specifically to you. Such belief transforms the way you respond to adversity. Hardship may bend you, but it will not break you. Criticism may sting, but it will not silence you. Rejection may wound, but it will not convince you that you are unworthy of love or opportunity. A person grounded in dignity understands that setbacks are events, not identities. They know the difference between making a mistake and being a mistake. This deep conviction also shapes how you treat others. When you see your own worth clearly, you begin to recognize the worth in every human being. You cannot demean another without diminishing yourself. You cannot oppress another without violating the principle that grants you value. Personal dignity becomes the foundation for mutual respect and justice. Believing in your dignity requires intentional affirmation. It demands that you challenge negative narratives planted by society, history, or even your own inner critic. It calls for discipline in thought, choosing to rehearse truths about your value rather than lies about your inadequacy. It is an act of courage to declare, especially in environments that attempt to strip you of confidence, that you are worthy of opportunity, worthy of respect, worthy of success. A life built on this belief carries a quiet power. It does not beg for approval because it understands its own significance. It does not shrink in the presence of greatness because it recognizes that greatness resides within. It does not surrender dreams at the first sign of resistance because it knows that a life of value deserves to be fully expressed. A commitment to excellence is the deliberate decision to rise above mediocrity in every area of life. It is the refusal to settle for good enough when greatness is within reach. Excellence is not perfection, nor is it the absence of mistakes. Rather, it is the disciplined pursuit of doing your very best with what you have, where you are, at this very moment. It is an attitude before it becomes an achievement, a mindset before it becomes a result. To commit to excellence means taking your responsibilities seriously, whether the task appears grand or small. It means understanding that no honest work is insignificant. The measure of a person is not found in the title they hold, but in the care they bring to their calling. When someone embraces excellence, they pour intention into ordinary duties. They prepare thoroughly, practice diligently, and execute faithfully. They recognize that the habits formed in private eventually shape the outcomes displayed in public. Excellence demands consistency. It is easy to perform well when motivation is high or when recognition is guaranteed. The true test comes in unseen moments, when no applause follows the effort. A commitment to excellence pushes you to show up with the same integrity and energy, whether anyone is watching or not. It builds discipline that does not depend on emotion. It cultivates reliability that others can trust. This commitment also requires continuous growth. Excellence is not a destination reached once and for all. It is a standard that evolves as you improve. It calls for humility, the willingness to learn, to accept feedback, and to refine your skills. Those who pursue excellence never assume they have arrived. They remain students of their craft. They read, observe, ask questions, and practice until competence turns into mastery. There is courage involved in striving for excellence. When you aim high, you risk falling short. When you push your limits, you encounter discomfort. Yet excellence thrives in that tension. It invites you to stretch beyond convenience and familiarity. It challenges you to confront weaknesses honestly and transform them into strengths through effort and persistence. Instead of fearing failure, you begin to see it as instruction, as guidance pointing toward improvement. A commitment to excellence also shapes character. It nurtures patience because meaningful achievement takes time. It strengthens resilience because progress often comes through obstacles. It develops focus because scattered effort rarely produces outstanding results. Over time, excellence becomes part of your identity. You do not pursue it merely for rewards. You pursue it because it reflects who you are becoming. When excellence anchors your life, even routine actions gain significance. You speak thoughtfully. You plan carefully. You honor deadlines. You respect the value of time, yours and others. You refuse to cut corners because you understand that shortcuts often weaken foundations. Your work becomes a reflection of your standards, and your standards become a reflection of your self-respect. Such commitment transforms not only personal performance but also influence. Others are inspired by consistent quality. They notice dedication. They respond to integrity. Excellence has a way of elevating environments, setting new expectations, and proving that ordinary circumstances can produce extraordinary results through unwavering devotion to doing each task with purpose and deliberate care. A dedication to moral integrity is the unwavering commitment to do what is right, even when it is difficult, inconvenient, or unseen. It is the alignment between belief and behavior, between private conviction and public action. Integrity is not situational. It does not shift with opinion polls or bend under pressure. It is a steady compass that guides decisions when the path ahead is unclear and when compromise appears attractive. To live with moral integrity means that truth is not negotiable. It requires honesty, not only in speech, but in intention. A person of integrity resists the temptation to distort facts for personal advantage or to remain silent when truth demands a voice. They understand that deception may offer temporary gain, but ultimately erodes trust. And trust, once broken, is difficult to restore. Integrity guards that trust carefully, knowing that reputation is built slowly and lost quickly. Moral integrity also involves consistency. It is easy to act ethically when choices are simple and consequences are visible. The true measure of character appears when no one is watching, when shortcuts promise quick rewards, when pressure urges conformity. Dedication to integrity means choosing the honorable path even when it costs something: status, opportunity, popularity, or comfort. It means refusing to betray your values for acceptance or advancement. Such dedication requires courage. Standing for what is right can isolate you. It can invite criticism or resistance. Yet integrity refuses to be governed by fear. It draws strength from conviction rather than convenience. It recognizes that character is more valuable than applause, and that inner peace is worth more than outward success. A clear conscience becomes a source of quiet confidence, allowing you to rest at night knowing your actions reflect your principles. Moral integrity demands accountability. It calls you to examine your motives honestly and to admit mistakes when you fall short. No one lives flawlessly, but a person committed to integrity does not hide from failure. They acknowledge wrongdoing, seek forgiveness where necessary, and make amends when possible. This humility strengthens character rather than weakening it. It transforms errors into lessons and prevents pride from taking root. Integrity also shapes relationships. When others know that your word is dependable, that your promises are sincere, that your actions match your declarations, trust flourishes. Trust creates stability in families, workplaces, and communities. It allows collaboration to thrive and respect to deepen. Without integrity, relationships become fragile, built on uncertainty and suspicion. A dedication to moral integrity influences choices both large and small. It governs financial decisions, professional conduct, and personal commitments. It resists gossip, rejects exploitation, and challenges injustice. It refuses to benefit from systems that harm others. Integrity sees beyond immediate advantage and considers long-term impact, recognizing that ethical foundations sustain progress more securely than manipulation ever could. Living with moral integrity is not about perfection, but about direction. It is about orienting your life toward righteousness and justice, about striving to ensure that your actions reflect your highest values. It shapes a character that remains steady in storms and humble in success. It builds a legacy not merely of accomplishment but of honor, creating a life marked by authenticity, responsibility, and steadfast devotion to principled living. The courage to stand against injustice is the moral strength to confront wrong, even when doing so invites risk, discomfort, or sacrifice. It is the refusal to remain silent in the presence of oppression, discrimination, or abuse of power. This courage does not arise from anger alone, nor from a desire for attention, but from a deep conviction that justice is essential to human dignity and that silence in the face of wrongdoing becomes a form of participation in it. Standing against injustice often begins with awareness. It requires seeing clearly what others may ignore or deny. Injustice can disguise itself as tradition, policy, or even majority opinion. Courage demands that you question systems and behaviors that diminish others. It calls you to examine whether laws are fair, whether opportunities are equal, whether voices are being silenced. This awareness awakens responsibility. True courage moves beyond private disagreement into public action. It may involve speaking up in conversations where prejudice is expressed. It may require defending someone who is mistreated. It can mean challenging institutional practices that disadvantage certain groups. Such actions are rarely comfortable. They may lead to criticism, isolation, or misunderstanding. Yet courage accepts these costs because it values justice more than approval. There is also an inner battle involved. Fear whispers about consequences, lost friendships, stalled careers, social rejection. Courage does not eliminate fear. It chooses to act despite it. It draws strength from principles rather than popularity. It recognizes that progress in history has always depended on individuals willing to challenge the status quo. Every significant advance in human rights emerged because someone refused to accept injustice as normal. Standing against injustice requires persistence. Systems of inequality are rarely dismantled quickly. Resistance can be slow and frustrating. There may be setbacks, legal barriers, or public opposition. Courage sustains commitment through these obstacles. It understands that meaningful change often unfolds gradually. It embraces patience without surrendering determination. This courage must also be guided by wisdom and discipline. Acting against injustice does not justify hatred or cruelty. Effective resistance maintains moral clarity. It seeks transformation rather than revenge. It aims to correct wrongs while preserving human dignity, even for those who perpetuate injustice. Such disciplined courage strengthens movements and protects their legitimacy. Solidarity is another dimension of courageous action. Often those most affected by injustice bear heavy burdens. Courage invites allies to stand alongside them, to amplify marginalized voices rather than overshadow them. It fosters unity built on shared principles of fairness and equality. When individuals join together with moral resolve, their collective strength becomes difficult to ignore. The courage to stand against injustice shapes character profoundly. It deepens empathy, sharpens discernment, and strengthens resilience. It transforms passive observers into active participants in shaping a more equitable society. It insists that comfort cannot be prioritized over conscience. It challenges each person to consider not only what is legal or customary, but what is right. Choosing this path means accepting responsibility for the world beyond personal interests. It means recognizing that neutrality in times of injustice often favors the oppressor. Courage steps forward when silence would be easier. It raises a voice when quiet compliance would be safer. It commits to the long and demanding work of aligning society more closely with principles of fairness, equality, and respect for every human life. A spirit of love and nonviolence is the deliberate choice to respond to conflict, hostility, and injustice without hatred or physical aggression. It is not weakness nor passive acceptance of wrongdoing. It is disciplined strength guided by compassion and moral clarity. This spirit recognizes that violence may silence an opponent temporarily, but it rarely transforms the heart. Love, expressed through nonviolent action, seeks not to defeat an enemy, but to awaken understanding and restore dignity. To embody this spirit means cultivating love that extends beyond personal preference or emotional comfort. It is not limited to affection for friends or kindness toward those who agree with you. It reaches even toward those who misunderstand, oppose, or mistreat you. Such love is grounded in the belief that every human being possesses inherent worth. When you view others through this lens, retaliation loses its appeal. You begin to see that harming another ultimately diminishes the shared humanity you both possess. Nonviolence requires discipline of thought and speech. It calls for restraint when anger surges and for wisdom when provoked. This does not mean suppressing feelings or ignoring injustice. Instead, it means channeling emotional energy into constructive action. Words are chosen carefully, not to wound but to illuminate truth. Actions are planned strategically, not to destroy but to persuade and transform. The spirit of nonviolence trains the heart to seek resolution rather than revenge. Courage is central to this way of living. It often takes greater bravery to endure insult without striking back, to protest peacefully in the face of aggression, to maintain composure when confronted with hostility. Nonviolence exposes injustice by refusing to mirror it. When one side responds to cruelty with dignity and restraint, the moral contrast becomes visible. This contrast has the power to stir consciences and inspire change. A spirit of love also nurtures empathy. It encourages you to ask why conflict exists and what fears or misunderstandings fuel it. By listening deeply, even to those with opposing views, you create space for dialogue. Love does not mean agreement. It means recognizing shared humanity amid disagreement. It seeks common ground without compromising core principles. Through empathy, barriers begin to soften. Nonviolence is active rather than passive. It organizes, mobilizes, and advocates for justice through peaceful means. It may involve marches, boycotts, negotiations, or community-building efforts. These actions demonstrate that resistance does not require destruction. They prove that firm conviction can coexist with compassion. Such methods aim to correct systems while preserving lives and relationships. Living with a spirit of love and non-violence shapes character profoundly. It reduces bitterness and guards against the corrosive effects of hatred. It fosters patience, self-control, and humility. Over time, it transforms not only external conflicts, but also the inner life of the person who practices it. The heart becomes less reactive and more reflective, less consumed by resentment and more guided by purpose. Choosing this path influences communities as well. Love-centered leadership inspires trust and cooperation. Nonviolent engagement lowers the cycle of retaliation that often escalates disputes. It invites others to imagine solutions rooted in justice and reconciliation rather than domination. It challenges the assumption that power must be expressed through force and instead presents moral authority as a stronger and more enduring foundation for lasting change. A vision that transcends circumstances is the ability to see beyond present limitations and imagine a future not dictated by current conditions. It is the inner capacity to hold on to possibility when reality appears restrictive. Circumstances may include poverty, discrimination, lack of resources, personal failure, or social barriers. Vision does not deny these realities, but it refuses to let them define destiny. It recognizes that what is visible today does not have to determine what is possible tomorrow. To possess such vision requires imagination anchored in hope. You must be able to picture yourself rising above obstacles that seem permanent. This kind of sight is not physical, but mental and spiritual. It allows you to envision achievement before evidence appears. When others see confinement, you see potential. When others see scarcity, you see creativity. This perspective shifts how challenges are interpreted. Instead of viewing hardship as proof of limitation, you begin to see it as a context for growth. A transcendent vision also reshapes identity. Rather than adopting labels imposed by society, you define yourself by purpose and possibility. If circumstances say you are disadvantaged, vision declares you are determined. If history suggests exclusion, vision insists on contribution. This internal narrative becomes powerful. It influences decisions, habits, and resilience. It protects you from absorbing messages that attempt to shrink your aspirations. Maintaining vision in difficult environments demands mental discipline. Daily experiences may contradict your hopes. Progress can be slow. Doubt may whisper that dreams are unrealistic. Vision answers doubt with persistence. It requires consistent reinforcement through learning, mentorship, reflection, and faith in long-term outcomes. By feeding your mind with constructive influences, you strengthen the clarity of what you seek to achieve. A vision that transcends circumstances also encourages strategic action. It is not mere wishful thinking. It motivates preparation and deliberate effort. When you see a different future, you begin aligning your present behavior with that image. You pursue education, develop skills, build networks, and seek opportunities that support your goals. Vision directs energy with intention. It turns vague desire into focused pursuit. Such vision often inspires others. When individuals refuse to be defined by hardship, they challenge collective assumptions about what is possible. Their determination becomes evidence that barriers can be overcome. This influence spreads hope within communities facing similar struggles. Vision multiplies when shared. It shifts cultural expectations and encourages broader transformation. Transcending circumstances also involves adaptability. Conditions may change unexpectedly. Economic shifts, personal setbacks, or societal events can disrupt plans. A strong vision remains flexible without losing its core purpose. It adjusts methods while preserving direction. This balance between determination and adaptability strengthens long-term progress. Holding a vision beyond circumstances nurtures resilience. Setbacks are interpreted as temporary rather than final. Rejection becomes redirection. Delay becomes preparation. Each obstacle is absorbed into a larger narrative of growth rather than defeat. The mind learns to separate present struggle from ultimate outcome. This kind of vision invites responsibility. It challenges you to act in ways consistent with the future you imagine. It demands courage to pursue paths that others may doubt. It refuses complacency and resists despair. By lifting your focus beyond immediate conditions, you cultivate hope that fuels perseverance, discipline that sustains effort, and faith that your current reality does not possess the authority to limit the height of your aspirations. And now, as we gather these truths into our hearts, let us remember that a blueprint is not merely something you admire, it is something you live. It is drawn not only with ink, but with choices. Not only with dreams, but with discipline. Not only with words, but with courage. Build your life on the firm foundation of dignity. Commit yourselves to excellence in every task, whether great or small. Anchor your character in moral integrity. Stand boldly against injustice wherever it appears. Let love and nonviolence guide your strength. And lift your eyes beyond present circumstances toward a vision that calls you higher. You may not control the winds that blow against you, but you can determine the set of your sails. You may not choose the soil in which you were planted, but you can choose how deeply your roots will grow. Within you is more power than you have yet realized, more purpose than you have yet fulfilled, more greatness than you have yet expressed. So walk with confidence, work with determination, speak with conviction, love with courage. And as you continue to build your life's blueprint, let it be said that you did not simply exist in your generation. You rose in it, you shaped it, and you left it better than you found it.